Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to my 27th Flosstube episode. If you are new here, welcome. This is a YouTube channel that is mostly about cross stitch. I do like to share other passions of mine as well, so sometimes you'll see some embroidery or some crochet or some sewing, and I do like to get that out of the way kind of right at the very beginning because it normally doesn't take very long. And today I do have a couple sewing projects that I made since my last video to share. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming to spend some time with me today. I did want to actually start off by saying thank you to everyone who left such kind comments in my last video. I read all of them, I loved all of them. All of your words meant so much to me. Thank you so much. Like, really from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope everybody has been well since we last spoke. December was a really tough month and it kind of ended pretty poorly. I unfortunately got COVID for Christmas. We had a pretty large outbreak at my work, and Christmas Day night I started with some symptoms and went out the day after Christmas to get tested and couldn't find a test, and then went out the next day and got tested, and sure enough it was positive. So I got COVID and Quentin also got COVID. Aaron did not. So that was good, but our vaccines did their jobs and we had all in all pretty mild cases. So if I'm a little more coffee than normal, please excuse me today. I do, of course, have my drink here to try to keep that under control. But other than that, Aaron's off at work with the dog right now, and Quentin's at his dad's house, and so I have a couple minutes to sit here and share with you. Like I said, I do have some sewing to share, some sewing projects to share. I have some finishes, and then I brought all my whips for my whip parade. And of course, some things that came in the mail. So I guess let's just go ahead and get started. So also, if I refer to last year, I'm usually going to be referring to 2020 because it still hasn't like clicked in my brain that we're in 2022 now. Like, my New Year's was so different than all my like regular New Year's that it didn't even feel like we've gone into a new year yet. So in 2020, I did some primitive sewing projects. At Halloween, I made all those cats, and then at Christmas time, I made a snowman and a few angels. And so this year, I decided to make some more snowmen, and I bought a couple of patterns from Kentucky Primitives on Etsy, and here is what I made. The first ones that I made are the early cupboard snowman ornies. And here's one. Isn't he cute? This guy's got a little broom and a little tattered scarf in his hat. So there's the first one. And here is his friend. And I made him a little scarf and candy cane, and he's carrying a bundle of wood. I was thinking he was taking this home for his fire, but I don't know if snowmen like fires. I made those two. I made a snowman pattern called If You Just Believe, and it's a snowman and his mousy friend. And here is the snowman. I gotta pull way back so you can see his star. So there's my snowman, and here is his mousy friend. He's awfully cute. Give him a little stick tail. I like him a lot. And then the third one I made is my favorite, and it's called Winter of Long Ago Snowman. He's so weird. I like him so much. I might have to back up a little bit. He's kind of big. And here he is. He's kind of creepy, and you know I love that. His little face, and I made him this little like patchwork coat and his mittens and his funny little burlap shoes. And this guy brought me a lot of joy. I really love him a lot. So there is some of the sewing I was doing. I don't want them to fall. Since we were last together. Okay, so now we're going to get into the cross stitch. And I'm going to start off with some finishes that I've had in the past month or so. I believe I was working on this when I did my last video, and the pattern is Dreaming of Clint by Barbara Anna Design. Just a black and white. This was my birthday start, I think. I stitched this on a piece of 36 count pearlwood by Color and Cotton. Using all of the called for DMC, except I replaced the gold with this beautiful silk that Evan Paris had sent to me, and it's called Klimt. It's Veriswa Soie d'Alger, hand-dyed by Painter's Threads collection, paintersthreads.eu. Colorway Klimt, and she had sent it along with this sweet little tin. This is what the soap looked like. So pretty. That was so nice to work with. I had been saving it and saving it and saving it for just the right thing, and this was definitely the right thing. And here is my finish. You might get some weird shadows because my stack of whips right here is so tall. But here's my finish. That was super fun to stitch. Oh, the other side has got a blackbird on it. So I think this piece of fabric is done now. The next thing that I finished, this was one of my card projects. It was the 2021 Stronger Together pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. I stitched this on a piece of 32 count Star Sapphire using all of the called for DMC, and here's my little finish of that. Easy peasy. It only took all year to finish. So once I was done with the Dreaming of Klimt, I pulled out this project from last year, that I started last year. And this project came out of the Roger W. Renardi collection from Leisure Arts. This is a pretty old pamphlet, what did it say? 1983. And I stitched, what was the pattern called? Friendship Sampler, which looks like that right there. And it says, give me a friend with whom I can be silent. I stitched it on a piece of Camelot 36 count by Color and Cotton using the called for DMC. Oh, it lived in this bag from Pineapple House. And here's my finish. I'm really happy with how that turned out. I think it's really pretty. All the water in the back is half stitch. Really, really pretty. It matches, these colors actually match. I've got a piece of art in the back corner where my stitchy spot is that these colors match perfectly with, so I think I'd like to frame it and hang it back there. The next thing I worked on and finished, I did some of this last year, and then I finished what I wanted to do out of the pattern this year. This is Evie's French Christmas Ornaments by Shakespeare's Peddler. And last year I did this one, and this year I did this orange tree, and I chose not to do the bird tree. I stitched this in kind of like a DMC conversion on a piece of 40 count Shadow by Picture This Plus. And here's my finish. So I've got that one, and that one. Using the ball tip needle made stitching on this very easy. Very easy. So I just need to finish these into ornaments. My friend Anne and I want to have a finishing day, so I believe these will be included in that, and I've got plenty of this fabric left over. And then my last finish I have to share came from this Blackbird Designs book, The Loose Feathers Winter. And I stitched Evelyn Cunningham, just back here, this little sampler. And they suggested putting somebody that had a December birthday. So my mom was born in December and I put her birthday on there. I stitched this on a piece of Biscotti 32 count by Color and Cotton, using colors that I chose for my stash. These are pretty fun colors to work with. And I did cover up part of this finish just because I don't know if I want to put my mother's maiden name out onto the internet, but there is my finish. Very sweet. That was a really fun little stitch. I like these like pomegranates. Really pretty. Okay, all right. So that's what I have worked on, and well, that's what I finished. I've worked on some other things. So when I laid out my whips over here, I don't really keep track of when I start things anymore. So they're not really in like any kind of chronological order. I did put on top my New Year, New Start, and then a couple things that I've definitely worked on since my last video, and then after that it's just, as I pulled them out and ironed them, that's how they got stacked together. Okay. All right. So my first whip is my New Year, New Start. I decided to start Mary Claire Carroll 1738. This is listed as the oldest known Maryland sampler. I didn't like fact check that to make sure it was true or anything. But it is definitely a beautiful sampler. It was charted by Samplers Revisited, and there's a lot of good information about Mary and her sampler in this chart. This is the cover picture, and she's a big girl. She is charted all in DMC. And the verse on the sampler reads, "Not pleasing objects which soon pass thy sight, or richest food that highest taste delight, not numbered music which captivates the ear, or gayest dress that pleases much the fair. With virtue equal are my charming maid, these clog out sense, this to the mind guise aid. This New Year's gift for your sampler may adorn, and pattern be to others yet unborn. Mary Claire Carroll, January the 1st, 1738. See how the lilies flourish white and fair. See how the ravens fed from heaven are." I like that an awful lot. I had a big piece of 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak by Legacy Linen, and it happened to be the perfect size for this. And you're gonna have to excuse me, there's gonna be lots of dangling threads. Here's where I am so far. So I finished the first page and have started in on the second page. I believe this pattern is 15 pages. But I'm really, really enjoying this so far. What I've been doing is I've been doing like a section, and then I'll work on another project after that, and then I'll do another section and then work on another project. And that way I feel like I'm kind of getting some progress on some other things as well. But you're liking, there's a lot of satin stitch. There's a lot of instructions to this. There's some surface embroidery and all kinds of fun stuff to come. As you can see, it's going to be pretty big. It's going to take up most of this fabric. I've never stitched with Legacy Linen, and it's okay. I don't know that it's my favorite, but maybe as I continue to work with it, I'll start to enjoy it a little more. So like I said, that's Mary Claire Carroll, 1738. Right, my next whip that I've been working on is My Pink Rose from Blackbird Design. This is a Reward of Merit Pinky. It's like this. This lives in my Stitch Folk Blackbird bag. I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count Belfast raw with the white polka dots in colors of my choosing for my stash. Just a couple colors. This is my I'm avoiding going to bed project. And here's where I am. So it doesn't get an awful lot of love, but it does get a little. It's very nice and relaxing to stitch on. I like the colors, I like the way it's turning out. And this linen, this light green color isn't showing up very well, but that's okay. I still think it looks nice. So I pick away at that a little bit here and there. During the month of December, my car project was a Night Spirit Studio skull ornament, which I did not manage to complete in December. I try really hard to take a lunch every day, but I'm not always successful, and sometimes I'm so like mentally drained when I do go take my break that I just can't stitch. I'm working on a piece of 20 count Lugana, and I'm using the called for colors. And this is as far as I got in the month. So I did that one last year. And so this is, you know, more than halfway done. I might keep it in the car, I might not, I'm not sure. And then I've got one more. It's like a Plague Doctor one. So that's where I am on that. The other project that I am currently working on is the 2020 Pandemic Sampler by Christine Stephenson, who is Sarcy Girl on Instagram. I'm using all of the called for DMCs, and I am stitching this on a piece of 36 count My Little Dove by Extreme Design. And here is where I am. Again, please don't mind the hanging threads. So I had completed the first page the first time when I started it, and now I've started on the second page here. So like I said, once I complete a section of Mary Sampler, then I put that down and I pick this up and I work on it until bedtime. So it doesn't get a whole lot of stitching, but it gets a little bit, and that's all that matters, and I'm really enjoying working on this again. So before I pulled out Pandemic to work on, I stitched on Miss Lucy Calcutt 1825 from Just Stitching Along. So I started this for my birthday in 2020, I believe, and I did one page and then I didn't touch it again until about 2 weeks ago. So I'd done the first page, and I this time completed the second page. I'm stitching it on 25 count even weave that I dyed. I'm stitching it 1/1. I'm using the called for DMC. It lives in this beautiful Delicious Threads bag. And here's where I am. So as you can see, I completed the second page. This is like the page marker right here. I'm so paranoid about miscounting on this because picking out the 1/1 is not ideal. But I love the effect that it's giving. It's so dainty and pretty, and I just love it so much. So one more page over here and I'll reach the other corner. I'm really loving stitching the motifs. The border is not my favorite. I don't mind the red border. I don't mind the dark green border. It's the leaves of the flowers that for some reason we're just getting on my very last nerve. But I think she's looking great. I'm glad that I gave her some love. It feels weird to like go so long without working on a project. All right, so that's everything that I've worked on. And my next 2 whips are definitely my oldest, like 2018, 2019, I think 2018 maybe. And then after that, it's however, like I said, however they came out of my drawers. All right, so the next whip I have to share with you is the Desert Regatta by Lifetime Samplers. And I am just about halfway done this project. I remember last time I worked on it, I got frustrated and I put it away, but now that I've pulled it back out and looked at it, which everyone says, it's like, oh, now I see it, I just want to work on it. Using all of the called for colors on this, and I'm stitching it on a piece of 16 count lamb's wool Aida. And here is where I am. So, just pretty big. Got all of this done down to the very bottom, and I didn't realize I didn't finish this text. That seems unusual, but I got down here and I was working on what is this? Stem stitch, I think, and it called for 3 threads, and it just looked really bulky, and I got frustrated and I didn't feel like pulling it out, so I just need to rip that back out and put it in with probably 1 thread to make it look nicer. So we're halfway there on this one. This one's slow going. It's a lot of stitching, and there's a lot. This is another one that there's a lot of instructions that go along with it. And my other oldest whip, which this is just silly that it's still hanging around. This is Anne Barson Lowbrow, 1837 by Plum Street Antiques. There's 2 colorways provided. There's Bullet's colorway, and then there's the antique colorway. I am doing the antique colorway, and this is what those threads look like. Very pretty. This is on 40 count vintage light exemplar, which is the called for fabric, and here's where I am. So all I have left is this corner, which just to go around the border, and it is, I believe, just a repeat of this side. So that's silly that it's still hanging around, but it is. Next up is my Mirabilia. I am doing the Cathedral Woods Goddess. I'm stitching it with all of the called for everything. This is a beautiful bag by Diana. It is Kismet Stitches. I'm stitching it on a piece of 28 count Monaco that I hand dyed myself. And here's where she's at. She's big and beautiful. I have, let's see, so this is, the bottom half is complete except for all the beading. Last time I worked on the top half, I did do a skin conversion to make her not such a white lady. So I'm anxious to get into that next time I pull her out. But she's beautiful. I really enjoy working on her. She's very, like the big blocks of color and everything, she's very peaceful to work on. I really enjoy her a lot. I've got some other Mirabilia patterns I would like to start, but not until she's done. This is another whip that I haven't worked on since the first time that I worked on it. And this is The Old Winter by The Primitive Hare. I'm stitching it in the called for DMC and on the called for fabric, which is this 30 count white flakes linen, also by the Permanent Hair. And here's where I am. I love this linen. I love this project. I do have this kind of set out into the sides so that I can give it some love this winter. It's just so pretty. All right, this next project is something that I would definitely like to try to get done this year. This is the Bonhomme de Neige patterns by Collection Tralala. I've got the autumn and winter and the spring and summer. And I've completed 2 of these. I've completed the summer and winter, I believe, the 2 that I have done. These call for quite a few flosses, and I would really, that's another reason why I'd really like to have these done, not just to like have the project done, but it's holding up so much floss that I'd like to have that back in my stash. This is I keep this in this giant bag from the Crafter Emporium. I love this bag. Like, here's some of the floss. Here's more floss. Like, it calls for so much. I'm stitching this on a piece of, it's 32 count? 35 count? 32 count? I can't remember. Dark Natural. And here are the 2 that I've completed. I'm using the Sulky White for the white, which is my favorite for white stitching. So I've got 2 done and 2 to go. But they are awfully cute, and I do want to finish them as little stand-ups like in the picture. Cute. All right, this next was maybe my favorite new start of last year. I was offered to borrow this pattern from a very, very kind friend, and don't worry when you see how wrinkled this is just my working copy. Yeah, I would never, the original is in a very safe space. This is Black and Sky by the Permanent Needle. I keep this in my favorite Janet Jabber bag. I love this bag. I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count Old Brown using colors that I'm choosing as I go. These are some of the colors from the first block. I do need to pick out a couple more to start into the second block. And here's where I am. The first block complete. Oh, it's so good. I love it so much. It's so good. So this is a pretty big piece. I think it's bigger than the picture makes it look, but oh, I'm so excited to get back to that. So excited. My next whip is Mini Quaker Samplings with my needle. Original designs by Ellen Chester. So I've already stitched this one, and I'm working on this one. I'm using Hand-Dyed Fibers Mystery 101 silk in this beautiful blue. That is so pretty. And I'm stitching it on a piece of 40 count extrude design fabric. I want to say it's something coffee, but I don't have the tag anymore. It's very nice to work on. So here's where I am on that one. Here's the other one. Cute. Next up is Harvest Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. I started this with my friend Lily at 42 Stitches on the first day of autumn this past year. It lives in this beautiful bag I got off of stash unload. I'm using a piece of 36 count Nantucket Brew, and I chose all the colors out of my stash. That's a whole mix of beautiful colors, and here's where I am. So I got the horse all outlined, so I just have to fill that out, or fill that in, and same with the wagon and the sign. But it's super fun. My next whip is Raven Bewitched by Blackbird Designs, which will look like this. This also lives in a beautiful Diana It Is Kismet bag. Love the fabric. This I am stitching in the called for flosses. Which, like this, there's that, where is it? Oh, that red. It's so pretty. And I am stitching it on a piece of 36 count Bramble by Picture This Plus. And here's where I'm at. So what gave me a hold up on this pattern is that some of the ravens, the colors that, like the two colors that are in the ravens are really similar, and I just need to make a decision and either keep it or change it. Just do something. Don't just sit on it, right? So that's where that is. My next whip is my mill hill project. Last time I did a mill hill, I said I would not do another mill hill, and then I bought more mill hills, and now I'm doing another mill hill. But I haven't worked on this one since last winter. This is the Buttons and Beads Frosty Morning. Little cardinals. It lives in this bag from Stash Unload, and here is progress. This was another I don't want to go to bed project from last year. I did start this on the wrong side. It should have been stitched on the with the brown side out, but oh well. I'm clearly not going to do anything about that now. So this also is something that I have like pulled to the side to work on for the winter. My next whip is the beautiful Hannah Hetherington reproduction from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. I started this with Amy, who is Pinky Sunshine Stitcher on Instagram. She started hers and finished hers, which I totally get because this pattern is super fun to work with. She did this one, I'm also doing this big one. There's several different color options to choose for this pattern, and I went with the Glorianas. It's a pretty bag. I got off of Stash Unload. This is a Quilting with Nico bag. Look at those birds. Oh, I love that. I love that bag. So like I said, I'm stitching this in the Gloriana option, which like this. Oh, these colors are amazing. There is one silken color that goes with that too. It's so pretty. This is being stitched on a piece of 36 count driftwood by XJU Design, and I have finished the first page, I think. No, I'm not sure. I would say I probably finished the first page. But she's very pretty. I love her colors. Those blues are so nice. So nice. My next project is by Not Forgotten Farm, and it's called The House That Jack Built. This is being stitched on a piece of 20 count raw Aida using colors from my stash. A bunch of colors. And here is where I'm at. So I've got it pretty well set up that I can just kind of sit and do some fill in, like in the big pumpkin and in the rug here. Those little pumpkin people are adorable. I really like that one a lot. Now this next project definitely needs some love, because I started it and then I think I've made an error in it and I need to fix it, and I just haven't been able to bring myself to do that. And this is the Tiny Modernist Moon Phase Bell Pool. So I started it, and I think in this top moon right here, there's something wrong. And that's basically all I've done. So I'm using the called for flosses. This is another one of those Quilting with Nico bags. This is on a piece of Seraphim fabrics in Timberwolf, 36 count. Very pretty, but this is all I have done. So nothing. And I'm pretty sure there's something wrong in this moon. So I need to pull this out and fix that, number one. And then second, I need to work it down a little bit so that I can get it on a little Q-snap. Because I think once I get it into a Q-snap, I'll want to work on it more. And I know there's not very much margin right here, but I'm gonna make it into a bell pull, so I don't need very much. And then I've got all this fabric to work with. So that definitely needs some love. Speaking of needing some love, this project I thought I was going to keep out and keep working on after I made my last video, but then there was a small accident that happened with it. And I think that she's okay now, but the whole thing got me flustered, and then I had to put her away for a little while. This is the Bird Keeper by the Good Housewife. This was a unicorn of mine for a long time. I love her. She lives in this beautiful bag with this birdcage lady and lots of pet hair. I'm stitching her on a piece of 32 count cedar plank linen in a couple of the called for DMCs, but mostly colors that I chose. And so what happened to this poor girl, she was in the Q-snap in my stitching spot, and I was not stitching. I was just sitting on the couch, and I was enjoying a glass of wine, and the dog walked by and exploded my wine with her tail, and it splashed all over the wall, the radiator, the linen, the floor, and so I immediately got her out of the Q-snap, you know, and went and washed her and washed her and washed her, and I just had to put her away for a little bit after that. This is as far as I got when I first started her. And I don't believe there is any remnants of the wine, but maybe in like the early spring I'll pull her back out. Now this next project, I thought I could make my card project, but I was wrong. This is Salem Sisters 3 by Plum Street Samplers. I am stitching this on a piece of 18 count Aida that I dyed myself. I've already stitched Salem Sisters 1 and 2. Black. I'm using colors from my stash and that I used in the other, what am I saying? In the other projects. I pulled a couple purples to try to finish out the words. I'm not committed to any of these yet. But I thought that I would be able to use this as my card project because it's one strand on 18 count, and so that would be easy to stitch on. But I need to, it's not. So here's where I'm at. And my thought was that I've got this big angel at the top and then all of this fill-in at the bottom to do. But I need to lay some more groundwork. I started working on the angel, and I need to put that in a Q-step and do the outline of the angel, and I also need to put those words in. And then I can take it and just fill it in. So here's where it is. And I think there's a bunch of little doodads and whatnot that go in the words, but I would really like to get this done this year. And then my very last whip, I did not count these, I'm not sure how many I have, is one that, again, I started and haven't touched since I started, and that is Lovebirds. This was a stitch along on Instagram. Anna has Peruvian Flair on Etsy. This is just the pattern, so I don't want to show that. It's just 2 colors. I'm using this Planet Earth Fiber Silk in Peak 1096, and this is a Silks for You. This is one of their September 2020 silks. I'm stitching it on 40 count Ruby by Color and Cotton. I've had this in my stash forever, and I'm glad to finally be using it for something because it's gorgeous. And this is as far as I got. So not very far, just part of the border and part of a bird. So that definitely needs some love and attention. Whew, all right. So those are all of my whips. I love every single one of them. I want to work on every single one of them. Hope to finish quite a few of them or make some good progress on some of them this year. And I'm feeling very excited about that. So that's a good sign. And I gotta reach for a second. My whole setup here is a little precarious today. Okay. So all we have left are the things that came in the mail. My Silks for You November monthly club came. And there are all of these pinks, which are pretty pink. Like I said, I think I'm going to cancel my subscription to this club and look for maybe a different option, because I don't think those are quite my colors. I've got 2 pieces of Fortnite fabrics. I was in their, I think it was Shades of Grey Fabric of the Month Club, and so obviously that finished as we're going into a new year, and I did sign up for another one. I think it was called the Romantics, but I can't remember. Either way, this is Pack Hunter, 36 count. Very pretty. And this is Tea Time, so 36 count. That's pretty washed out. It's a very pretty gray. This is my December Fabric of the Month Club from Color and Cotton. I got a 40 count in Tuscan. This color is gorgeous. It's definitely richer in person. Let's see, from, I think this was on Stash Unload or eBay, I can't remember. I got Bluebird of Happiness by Blackbird, and it came with a piece of linen to stitch it on. Speaking of Blackbird from Quilter Station, I got some of the Blackbird fabric. It's beautiful. I was watching somebody's video and they were like, oh, whatever happened to Victoria Motto floss? Nobody ever talks about that anymore. And I was like, yeah. I mean, I used to get that, and I still use them and love them. So I went over to her website, and she said that she does everything, I guess, on Etsy now. And she still had a listing for her October primitive floss of the month club, and so I decided to grab that. And here, I'll show you the colors that came in it. Old Blacksmith, Green Spruce. I really like these. Preserved Cherry, Antique Oak Acorn, The Wilderness, Juiced Berry, Amber, Rum Keg, Weathered Wood Shingles, Prim Tin, Camel Variations, I really like this one, and The Ghost. So I guess she puts them all up on her Etsy shop now, and you can just buy them right on there if you want, and if she's got things left over from previous months, she puts them on there as well. I saw October, November, December, and January, I think, are all up on there. I placed an order with Top Knot Stitcher Shop, Abby. I got Violet's Blue by Blackbird, the reprint. 8 Birds by Kathy Barrick. It's really pretty. This Tiny Modernist Moths and the Moon, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty. Forever Timeless Morning Sampler by Stitchy Prose. Beautiful. Quaker Pumpkins by Hello from Liz Matthews. Aaron saw somebody working on this, and he was like, oh my god, I love that. So I definitely had to get that. And Tricks or Treat, also Blackbird. Cute. I placed an order with Cobweb Corner, and I got a couple of little charts. I got Little House in the Woods by Heart and Hand, and First Moon Colony. Love both of those. I got a Sampler Petite Collection 2 by Brenda Gervais. I would like to get the other one too. I'm not sure about this Adam and Eve, but the other ones I really like. And I also got Thine Forever by Carriage House Samplings. That's really pretty. From eBay, I got Tombstone Spots by the Primitive Needle. That was another unicorn of mine. I got Her Sampler by Barrick Samplers. Cute. This came from Stash Unloading. This is Charlie Harper in Stitches Catnip. Look at that. That's too good. And I really like this little deer, the bird, and her chicks. And let's see, also from Stash Unloading, I got some floss tags here. There's a girl in there that sells all kinds of different sets. I think her name is Tabby. Look how pretty these are. They're so pretty. Love them a lot. I also got I got from Joann's, one of the Cryonic Custom quarters. I've got like those little ornaments that I showed, and I've got a couple other ornaments that I guess I stitched last year that I would like to be able to do the cording on, so I got that. I also shared in my last video that I got the Kitten Stitching Advent, and I didn't bring all 25 things to show you. I feel like, I'm sure somebody out there did the whole rundown of what was in that awesome box. I really enjoyed that. So I just brought a couple things that I really liked. There were these two beautiful limited edition Gentle Arts, and these two Silken Colors. They're really pretty. I really like this one. It's called German Glass. Beautiful gray. That was this little spiral notebook, which hell I ever use because it's so pretty. From Stacey Nash Primitives, there was Deck the Coop Pinky. I didn't think I was really a person that would want to stitch a chicken, but I really want to stitch these chickens. That's so pretty. From Plum Street, there was Yuletide Delivery, which again is not something that I thought that I would like, but something about this just reminds me of my mother. I don't know. She loved Christmas so much. From the Blue Flower, there was Winter Quail. Heartstring Samplery, Ye Old Noel. From Needlework Press, H. Purdy, 1822. It's really pretty. They use a dark green. I'll probably do like a dark blue. And then also from Hello from Liz Matthews, her Winter Garden. Alright, so I believe that's it. Those are all my whips. That's all the stuff I bought. That's everything I've been working on. I hope everybody is doing well and enjoying the new year. Yeah, so hopefully I won't be gone for too long again, and I'll have lots of great stuff to show you next time. And thank you all again for all your comments from the last video, really. Thank you all. Love you all. Bye.